What's up, YouTube? Thank you for tuning in to my video. This video is actually going to be my update video. I already filmed it. This is just an introduction because my introduction was a little rocky and I didn't want to have to redo the whole thing. I definitely apologize because it took so long for me to upload an update video, but I got a surprise. I plan to do a whole series. So this will not be the only video that I post. This is just going to be part one of a 4-part series I plan on doing. And I just thank everybody who have been following me, who supported me, who commented, liked, just watching my videos. I really do appreciate it. I hope they're helpful. I hope y'all are getting something out of the videos. I send my love and light to you guys for being on this journey, and I wish everybody a wonderful happy holidays, and thanks again for watching my video. Let's get into it. Okay, so what is new? Well, first of all, let me start by saying, for those who this may be the first time watching a video of mine on my channel, I have been in food freedom recovery now for it's been actually almost 2.5 years. I actually started food freedom in August of 2019, but I had actually started before August. I just give August, I start my journey in August because that's when I really was conscious of like food freedom, if that makes sense. That's when I really like started doing research, started educating myself, started learning just all this information about intuitive eating. And that's when I really hit a wall. And I think for anybody who's had an eating disorder or who has struggled for years with disordered eating, you know that it really takes a conscious, you have to, and some people start food freedom and then they relapse and then they hit the wall, right? But for me, I've been dieting and struggling with body image issues and this kind of thing for about half of my entire life. Like, I'm 32. I have been chronically yo-yo dieting since I was about 14, 15 years old. That's like the earliest. My very first diet was the Atkins. I went on that when I was 14. It was because my sister was on it. She had lost a substantial amount of weight when nothing else worked for her. And then she really advocated that, you know, people tried this diet, and I was 14 and I felt like I was super overweight. And I know this is like a rant, a backstory. Y'all bear with me, but this is why when in 2019, when I finally consciously realized what was going on and that I was never going to achieve what I wanted through dieting and over exercising, that I hit a wall mentally and I said, there has to be another way. Like, I have to be doing something wrong if by now I have not achieved what I, wanted all these years, what I thought I wanted all these years. And when I was young and I thought I was overweight, it's interesting because it's sad actually that I look back on pictures when I was like 14 and 15 and I feel like I'm a very normal, average sized, teenager. Like, I'm probably about 150 pounds, 160 pounds. I wasn't the most fit. I think I had a lot of baby fat, but I looked like a normal, healthy teenager. And when I was younger in that body, I felt so huge. And I had a very distorted body image. And so those are the things that led me to become chronic with my dieting, disordered with my eating. I did diet after diet. I restricted, doing all kinds of crazy things. I'm sure that I've already given my backstory before in my other 2 previous videos. So I'm not going to go extremely heavy into that. But for those who are just joining, I just wanted to give you a little bit of the backstory on why I did food freedom. But for me, it was just a conscious decision in August. But I would like to say that I really started probably around, I would say, June that year, like maybe June-ish, because I went on a vacation and I dieted for that vacation. After that vacation, I kind of like let the reins go completely. I just wasn't conscious of it at the time. You know, I didn't realize that I was done until about August, but I hadn't restricted since June. So I still technically count that, but it's been like 2.5 years that I have been in food freedom. And where I'm at now, I don't consider myself in recovery anymore, because I just feel like after you've been in recovery for about 1.5 years, everybody's different. But I think that when you get to a point where it's second nature, like you're not really thinking consistently about, you know, restricting. I don't really have those thoughts anymore. I don't battle with, I don't really battle with the fight and the struggle, the internal battle that I used to have back in the early, like the first year of food freedom. I really pay attention to my body. I'm pretty much completely in alignment with my hunger cues now. And that took, being in alignment with my hunger cues probably took the longest. The insatiable appetite, or the binge eating, or some people, it's called, I can't think of, when you have like that really insatiable appetite and you just, you know, that lasts for a while in the beginning, but you know, I would say probably about 8 months, 6 to 8 months in, that kind of calmed down. And then I went through a different struggle. And the struggle was that I wouldn't be hungry. It would switch over to, I could go kind of like the whole day. And even though I might feel hungry, my mind was like not really hungry. And I was suffering from a lot of digestive issues that are very common in eating disorder recovery. These are all things that are very normal and common. And that's what it ended up being. It was really just a phase of eating disorder recovery that, you know, it was very uncomfortable. It was very physically uncomfortable. I was very swollen. I was very tired and fatigued. I didn't eat well. It was a hard time. But after about 9 months in that part, like pretty much the entire 2020, I started to get a breakthrough. I started to feel better. I started to physically, and I'm talking about just physically, okay? I haven't gotten on the emotional side, but physically I felt better. And my hunger started to come back, and I started to get in alignment with what I was actually, my mind and my body were like in alignment now. So it wasn't like I was hungry, but I didn't feel or have the energy to eat. And it wasn't like I had such an insatiable appetite that now I'm just like eating everything in sight. It was like, okay, I get hungry, I eat a meal, I'm satisfied. I was able to go through a full cycle of hunger, you know, normal hunger cues, eating and being satiated on a day-to-day basis. And once this happened, my energy picked up and so on and so forth. So on the emotional side of things, like I said in my last video, it got very hard. It got very dark when you don't feel your best. You have a lot to do, but you can't really do it because you're tired, you're sluggish, you're bloated, your clothes don't fit good. I know how all of that is, and it sucks. And you go through that stage too. You know what I mean? Like that stage is part of it. And even now, like I go, because I'm still in a bigger body. So I do go through those days where I don't feel my best. I do go through those days where I still have body image issues. So like I said, yeah, so you're going to have those emotions. It is a very emotional journey. This is not a journey for the weak. This is a journey for people who are tired of being stuck in the same loop, and you are done, and you are willing to accept everything that comes along with being free. And it doesn't always look amazing all the time. And I know like people see a lot of videos. I see a lot of videos. I watch a lot of videos of people that are recovered already, and like, you know, completely recovered, already went back down to their set point. And so you feel like, oh, why isn't it happening for me? You're going to struggle with that. I know not everybody does. Okay, sorry, I had to pause the video for a second. But anyways, like I was saying, these emotions are things that you are going to go through. This is part of the process. It is an emotional journey. I think that what I struggled with the most when it came to my emotions was that all these other emotions came up. It was like when I decided to start the journey of food freedom. You know, it started off like about me just being tired of being on a diet, me being tired of, you know, trying to force my body into a smaller body that maybe was not meant for me. I don't know, because I started dieting so young. I really don't know what my body would have ended up looking like, but it was like a very what seemed to me like a very straightforward thing. Like, okay, I'm just done dieting, you know, I'm just done with this. And it turned into something so much more powerful. It turned into a complete transformation for me. A lot of the past, you know, unprocessed emotion that was underneath my eating disorder started to come out. It started to, I had to deal with it. I couldn't diet my way out of it or whatever. And all these things that like triggered insecurities in me, from posting pictures on social media to just even being with my partner, like, and how it had conditioned me to be so focused on the exterior. And a lot of times, because the exterior is the easiest thing for you to control. And so I had to deal with that. And that was very difficult. It was a lot of nights that I cried, had to journal, had to, you know, find constructive ways to channel that emotion. And sometimes I still find myself dealing with unprocessed emotions. And when that happens, I have to identify that it's the emotions. The process is unveiling something so much bigger than, you know, weight loss or anything that's superficial. This process is freeing you from everything. It's freeing you from, you know, past hurts, things that put you in, because you got to understand, an eating disorder is a mental illness. So what shaped or conditioned this mental illness, all of that is coming out once you decide to go into this process. And it truly is a journey, and it has highs and lows, but I truly would never go back to what it was like when I was dieting, restricting, excessively, you know, tracking and over exercising. I would never go back to that. What has worked for me? I would say the biggest thing that has worked for me is just not being judgmental of myself during this process, and not comparing my process to other people. I watch other people on YouTube, and I take the information that I feel is applicable. And if it's not applicable at that time, I don't worry about it. I don't try to match my experience with another person's experience, because I understand that we're individuals, and why one person may have went down this path is not the same reason that I went down this path. Everybody is different. Everybody's going to have different dragons to slay. Everybody's going to have different demons to fight. Like, at the end of the day, as long as we all end up at the same place, and that is free and in our own frame and in love with who we are, and not caring about how the world perceives you, being you unapologetically is the goal here, right? So that is kind of what has kept me mentally focused. Even when I'm sorry, y'all, for all this coughing and clearing my throat. I honestly do. As soon as I decide, this is why I don't record videos all the time. Because as soon as I decide to record a video, I'm coughing, clearing my throat. I got distractions, kids running in and out. I'm sorry, y'all. Just bear with me while I get this information out. Let me take a sip of some water, because, like, I swear I don't know what's going on. But yeah, that is the thing that always grounds me. And then just going over like what to be grateful for. Like, I have so many things to be grateful for. Like, people are fighting to have the things that you have just as much as you're fighting to have something that is not meant for you. Like, at the end of the day, you're blessed. You're an individual who is unique, and you are, marvelously and wonderfully made. You do not need to meet any expectations. You just need to be you. So I used to try to do affirmations. That's another good thing to do. Affirmations, journaling, what else? Self-care. I think I mentioned these things in one of my other videos, but self-care is really important. Trust me, I'm saying this and I know that it's hard, especially in the beginning of recovery when you don't feel your best. But you have to just do your best. You know what I mean? Like, there were times when I wasn't at my best, but I always try to make an effort to get my nails done, to get, my hair, done. And as you guys can see, I had to let this hair go. My hair was wasteland and it was a lot to handle. So I had to start over, and I love it. So it just makes my day so much easier. But anyway, yeah, all these things, like try to do things that reaffirm the love that you have for yourself, that's not based on how you look. Cook yourself a special dinner, take yourself out on a date, go to a movie. I went to a concert about 2 weeks ago, and I had so much anxiety because I didn't go with anybody. I went by myself. I bought the tickets actually in 2020 before the pandemic, and then the pandemic came and everything got canceled. And then I had to actually use these tickets, because they actually rescheduled the concert. And I'm not gonna lie, I was extremely anxious about it because I had not been in like that big of a social setting in a long time. And it wasn't really so much about how I looked as how I felt. You know what I mean? It was kind of like fearful. There was an anxiety there. But at the end of the day, I forced myself to go, and I had amazing time. I had the best time. Me and the people that were sitting next to me were vibing. It was almost like, it didn't even matter that I was by myself. And I felt like such a badass after that. And I got some great pictures because I was really worried about how I was gonna, my outfit was gonna come out and this and that. And it was self-care to, do this for myself and to push myself. It was a form of self-care. I had to get dolled up. I had to get my nails done, get my hair done. And it was like a whole thing. And I didn't depend on anybody else to, boost me up. And it just felt like I just conquered a major fear. And so these are things that you can do to combat. And I'm going to talk about that also more, because there's a whole thing like counteractions. And I'll go into detail with that more, but counteractions help a lot with body image issues. This is what I do. So it's hard. It takes time because, we're all worried, even when you're not worried about how you look, you still care, right? So I understand that it's not easy to go ahead and just post a picture you don't like, or you feel like you look crazy in it, or a little bit bigger in it. And so I'm sensitive to that because I feel the same way. I still struggle with it. But counteractions are basically just practicing doing something anyway. Like, if the eating disorder tells you don't post this picture because somebody's gonna notice your stomach, post it anyway. If the eating disorder tells you not to have that cupcake, do it anyway. You have to basically counteract what it's telling you to conquer your fear. Because whether you eat 3 cupcakes, whether you eat 3 or 1 cupcake, it doesn't matter. Your body is sending you a message. If you even want the cupcake, it's sending you a message that you're having some sort of mental hunger, and you don't want to restrict your body. You don't want to put limitations. So counteracting is kind of like a little rebellious thing that you can do that really can reaffirm how you feel. And I've done this so many times and I've never regretted it. I've always felt better on the other side. I've always felt better, like, yeah, because eating disorder thoughts are not going to help you. Like, they're there to lure you slowly back to being in an eating disorder. So they're trying to trigger any way, that any insecurity, anything that they can to get their way in. And eating disorder thoughts are sneaky. They know how to shape shift into, you know, something else. You know, you have to really be vigilant when it comes to it, because it's easy to get lured into even like quasi recovery where you're not even conscious that you are restricting. Mm-hmm. And that disordered eating dialogue will tell you that this is what you should do. This is what's best for you. And, you know, it's okay if you just don't eat the rest of the day. You know, it's okay because you had plenty of food this morning. So you just want to be vigilant. And when you notice these thoughts, do an action to counteract them so that the thought can dissipate slowly. Because once you get to the other side of that action, you realize that it didn't really matter. And I wanted the cupcake, so I should eat the cupcake. And then guess what? The craving goes away and you can just move on with your life. And it's going to impact you very little. But if you don't eat the cupcake, then you slowly snowball back into restriction. Lastly, that I'm going to talk about are the physical differences since the last update. Far as weight, I have started slowly going back down to my set point weight. I don't know where my weight will ultimately land, but I do believe I was always meant to be in a curvy body, in a bigger body. So I don't expect to be like 125 pounds or 100, maybe even 100 and like 40, 50. I don't even expect that because, you know, I never really was a small girl, even like in middle school or high school. Where I expect my weight to fall comfortably, I really don't know. I have an idea, but I don't know. And I'm really okay with wherever it falls. I'm even okay with how I am today. It took a long time to get to this place. It took a lot of, you know, back and forth, you know, with my emotions. But I'm telling you, once you get here, you really just love where you are. And I truly love where I am physically. I feel better. I'm on my journey to being better, and doing whatever is necessary to facilitate that process, whether it's getting more rest, whether it's going to bed, getting more rest, taking stressful things out of my day, just like cutting my hair. You know, my hair was becoming a stress. So I said, you know what, let's try something new. So these are the things that help me physically to be able to just really get in my own frame and basically to just fall in love with where I am in the process. I'm not going to say that I don't want to be at my set point weight, because I don't think this is my set point weight. But what I'm saying is I don't know what my set point weight is. And I'm okay right where I am. And that is the biggest thing, acceptance and being okay with where you are. I'm at a place where I just observe my body and I just want to be in alignment with my body and do what my body needs to feel its best. And then letting that physically trigger the changes necessary, right? So I actually have not checked my weight in like, probably since like about April of this year. But I do take my measurements. And I don't do it regularly or anything. I just do it when I can tell that things are starting to fit looser. And I mainly do that because even when I order clothes, I want to make sure that they fit properly. But I don't own a scale anymore, and I haven't gotten on a scale since about April at the doctor's office. So, but even about April, I could tell I had lost about 15, 20 pounds. And even since then, I'm pretty sure I've probably lost about another 20 pounds. I can attribute some of that weight loss to having COVID earlier this year, and probably just my body naturally going back to its set point. I haven't changed anything. I'm not consistently active yet. Far as like exercising, I'm slowly going back to exercising consistently, because I've been very, very, very patient with myself with exercise, because it is a very fine line with exercise, and it can trigger me to go back into quasi recovery if I get too caught up or go at it too hard. And I can tell that when I go at it a little bit too hard, my body gets really, like, I get super swollen and inflamed, and my muscles get really sore, and it takes a lot out of me. So it's hard to be consistent. And I know that just means that my body's probably not really ready yet for that amount of intensity or the frequency of the exercise. So I'm gonna actually outline my strategy for reintroducing exercise, because I've tried several times during the process to reintroduce exercise, and it never seems to be consistent, because I feel like I was always reintroducing it before I was ready. But now that I've noticed that things are getting better and better and better each month, starting, like I said, probably since about last year, in May, things started slowly getting better. And now I feel like I've regained enough strength. My appetite is consistent. I eat intuitively 100%. And I'm very in alignment with my hunger cues, and I'm doing everything else that I need to be doing, getting enough sleep, having a routine, having a great sleep schedule, making sure I'm getting all the nutrients that I need, taking vitamins, taking the things that I need that I'm deficient in, keeping up with my primary care doctor, taking care of myself, basically. I'm doing all the necessary things first before I reintroduce exercise, so to make sure that I have a strong foundation and that I'm not prematurely reintroducing exercise before my body is ready. But I am going to go over the steps and the strategy that I plan to take, and what I'm already actually currently taking, on how I would reintroduce exercise on a consistent basis, meaning 3 to 4 times a week, actually engaging in some sort of moderate exercise. But of course, I do take walks. I do, have day-to-day tasks that I have to do every single day. I have 2 children. So, I'm an active person even when I don't exercise, but I just want to get back into exercising, but I want to do it in a way that it makes me feel good, that it's focused on the right thing, and it doesn't become something that turns into an obsession, or that I become way too aesthetically focused. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up this update. I know I was scatterbrained, y'all. Please forgive me. I just wanted to get this video up before the year was up, because I know that I was past due for a video, and I had been promising a video all year. And I know some of y'all are really following this journey, and I thank you for following me. I thank you for even taking the time to watch these videos. It means the world to me, and I hope they are helpful. This is my anecdotal experience. This isn't, a substitute for a doctor, a primary care physician, a medical expert, whatever. No, you need, go to the doctor, because I had to go to the doctor, just to make sure all my, hormones were right. I didn't have some underlying health issue, that was preventing me from, whatever, going through this process and actually being able to do this. I wanted to make sure that I was healthy enough to endure this process. And also throughout the process, I wanted to make sure that I was healthy. So I do recommend going to check up with your primary care. And I'm not a coach or anything like that. This is just my anecdotal experience, because I want to document this not only for myself, but for others going through this, because I know that it's hard. And seeing some of the people that are recovered already, or maybe they weren't in a bigger body, or maybe, they look average and you are in a bigger body, and you want to see what this process is like for someone who is also plus size and in a bigger body. And I totally understand that. So that's why I had to conquer my fear, you know, because I mean, this is a hard experience to go through. And I had to conquer that to put these videos out, and hopefully they help someone. One last thing. So since, like I said, this actually is video number 1, I'm going to do a series of 4 videos. So this is the first video in the update series. I'm actually going to do 3 more videos. I'm going to do one about, like I said, reintroducing exercise, one about a way more in-depth one about body image and things like that. Like when you have bad body image days, body dysmorphia, counteractions, actions you can take to help that. I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth with that because I kind of like went through it quickly. My experiences more in depth with that. And I'm also gonna make a video about the entire transformation and like how it all comes full circle at the end, and conquering the overshoot, the journey back to your set point weight. Because ultimately, let's be honest, all of us want to be comfortable at our set point weight. Everybody wants to be in the body that they were genetically meant to be in. It's just the journey back to that body and loving the journey while you get there. Loving where you are in the journey and accepting and respecting your body for the way that it performs, the functions that it serves, and seeing the beauty in even the bigger body. You know, I have learned to be to see so much beauty in my bigger size that I don't think I would have ever seen 10 years ago. Like, I would have been mortified and I would have missed out on how beautiful my body truly is at the bigger size. And so I'm going to get into all of those topics in the next couple of videos. I promise to get these videos out as fast as I can. I wanted to get this one up first, just in case I'm not able to record again until next year. So if I don't record the second video by the end of this month, happy holidays. Hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And if I can post a video, then thumbs up to me, because y'all pray for me. I'm trying to get on track. I'm trying to be consistent with this because I know this is helping someone. So I just really want to get them out there. So please just bear with me, y'all. Stay tuned. And thank you for following my journey. See you in the next video.